I am here to moderate the digital marketing panel. And so what I'd like to do is have my panelists please come up to the stage. And I will introduce them once they get to the stage. We have Julie Porter. She is the Chief Rocker at Front Porch Marketing. Then we have Kaylin Asher of Asher Media, followed by Lisa Duty of Advice Local. Digital marketing, if you don't know what it is the marketing of products and services using digital technology, mostly on the internet, but also on mobile devices, as well as display advertising and other digital mediums. So businesses like yourselves would leverage these types of digital platforms and channels such as search engines, email marketing, social media, and your website in order to connect with prospective and current customers. So our panel of experts come from a variety of marketing areas, and they are going to share, each one of them will share 3 tips in their prospective categories. And then we're going to have Doug. Where is Doug? There he goes, from Comerica. He's going to have a mic, and at the end, you'll have an opportunity to ask your burning digital marketing questions. So make sure you grab a notepad and pen, and as they are giving their 3 tips, jot down your questions. So first, I'd like to introduce Julie Porter of Front Porch Marketing. With a passion for blazing new trails and defining brand strategy, topped with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and results, Julie is a driven, competitive, lateral thinker who is motivated by working with her jamming team and by partnering with smart business leaders to boost their brands and top-line revenue to the next level. Julie is going to share some tips on having a strong brand identity and being consistent with your look. She's going to share how to create quality, engaging content that is reproduced across platforms and networks. And she's also going to talk about how not to underestimate the ease and cost effectiveness of email marketing. So Julie, go ahead and share with us some of your tips, please.
Do we move this or not? Okay. Good morning. I just want to say thank you, Andrea, for suggesting that I'm up here. Andrea, if you guys haven't heard about the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, you should learn about it and ask Andrea, because she's the best, and so she's the reason why I got to meet these great people and be here today. So thank you. Love you. 3 tips. From what we do is we work as basically the marketing department for a lot of companies that don't have internal marketing resources. So we work with the president of the company, the founder of the company, an executive director if they're a nonprofit. And so what we like to do when we are able to do this is really start with the foundation of a brand. So don't go off and do a digital strategy when you don't have a foundation for your brand. So you want to make sure that you have a strong logo that's reproducible across all mediums and all different kinds of things that you're going to use it for. And then you also want to have brand guidelines, which outlines your colors, your fonts, all of that. And it's important what we do, and there's a lot of processes out there and they're all pretty similar, is that we build the brand architecture, which is really 4 points for your brand, is having your brand vision, which is, at the end of the day, what's the highest calling for your brand personality. So what are the 4 or 5 personality words that describe your brand, because that will guide all your communication and the look and the feel of any creative that you have. The positioning, which is really about your target and what is your most compelling benefit. And then also with affiliation. So when people know that they work with your brand or your company, your nonprofit, what do they want other people to think about them? So it's kind of the theory of birds of a feather flock together. And then you need to make sure that you know the 3 C's for your brand, which is consistency. So making sure that you're consistent at all points of contact with your brand. That means, that your brand personality is when you answer the phone, the tone of your emails, any look and feel of your content marketing, digital marketing, your website. Connection, make sure that there's some sort of connection with your brand. So why do people want to do business with you? We do business with people who love what they do, who know that family is important to each one of our one of our team members, and everybody pretty much knows what's going on in our lives. They want to know what's happening with the kids or what's happening with the dog, and so it's important for us to be integrated as partners, not vendors. So for us as a brand, that's part of our connection that we have with our clients. So if you want us to go off and do an email marketing campaign and you don't want to hear from us and whatever, we can do that all day long, but we're best when we partner with our clients as part of their family. But so consistency, connection, and conviction. So make sure, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or you have a couple people, you have part-time people, that people are convicted about your brand and that they believe all of the architecture points that we talked about. And it's best when leadership, like us, like we have to be able to articulate our brand, and if we can't do it, then nobody can. So quality, engaging content that is important, and it can be repurposed. I think a lot of people underestimate the value of content, and it's so important, particularly today with all of the fake news and everything, and nobody trusts any journalists anymore, and so they're all looking at content. I think these recently gave a presentation on content marketing, and these statistics I thought were really interesting, and it's 61% of consumers say they feel better about a company that delivers custom content and are more likely to buy from that company, and that's from the Content Council, 61%. Because people are spending more than 50% of their time online looking at content. So, you need to know that you have to differentiate no matter from a digital age, and everybody uses stock photos and things like that, but make sure that they're true to your brand and that either your message is unique to you and that you're providing value and to your end customer, and that 90% of consumers find custom content useful. So people are looking for content as that relates to digital, so that those are important statistics, I think, to remember. Don't underestimate the ease and cost effectiveness of email marketing. A lot of people come to us, and particularly business to business, and they are very weary about the email marketing, and they think, well, people get emails all the time, they don't want to hear from us, and I don't want to bombard people, and so maybe we send one once a quarter. I'm telling you, you need to do email marketing. Once you have your list together and you have your content and you have your messages, you can replicate it, even if it's on a monthly or every other month basis. It is something that you need to do. And if you say, well, I don't have a list, people, you can buy lists. You have friends and family. Like, we have a list, and it's not, I think it's very valuable. It's about 2,000 names, but it's people that I've worked with for a long time, because I'm getting old. But I want to say the years. But it's like people that I worked with when I was in my 20s, and they're like, oh, well, I had an idea, and I met this person, you need to talk to him. They might not be somebody that you'll work with, but it's just introductions to new people that might refer you new business. Or it's, the burning thing. We're in September. People, I got a call yesterday about planning, for, marketing planning for 2019. So, people want to know what's going on. What are the trends? How much should I spend? So don't over-commercialize your email marketing, but be relevant to your audience and provide information. People want to hear from you, and if they don't, they can delete it or unsubscribe. I mean, it is not brain science. So anyway, that's all I'll say.
Thank you. Well, I do have a question for you. Since you are talking about email marketing, how many of you out there has an email list? Raise your hand if you're a business owner and you have a list. Now, how great, awesome. How many of you feel like you're using that list effectively, of those of you who raised your hand? Oh my goodness, only a few. So here's the question that I'm pretty sure is on the audience's mind, and that is, if email marketing is so effective, how come only 5 people raised their hand? If it's still effective, what should we be doing differently to increase open rates and click-through rates?
That's a great question. First of all, I would say you have to do it first. Like, get in the game and do it. I'm not looking at anybody in particular that has a list of like 20,000 names, y'all. Like 20,000 names. I'm like, you have no idea the gold mine that you are sitting on.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that you can do to increase the open rate and the clicks, but some things to think about is your subject line, and depending on what we prefer, MailChimp as our email that we use. Some people are still using Constant Contact, and there's other like crazy, expensive, fantastic things that you can use, but we keep it simple. They give you suggestions on how you can increase your subject line. They give you character length that they suggest, emojis that you can use, so it's all kind of there and kind of helps you. And I think intuitively kind of watching what people are doing, because you can see like who's clicking and what they're clicking on, because you want to have several places they can click through. So if more people are clicking on something about one subject and never about another, do more of that content the next time. And maybe sometimes it could be like the visual isn't compelling enough, or you're being too salesy, which we believe, like, unless you're selling a consumer product, business to business should be informative. That's what your email you should be helping people and giving them advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Let's give Julie a hand for that information. Next, I'd like to introduce Lisa Duty of Advice Local. Lisa is the Director of Brand Marketing at Advice Local. She is a social media coach, speaker trainer, and author of 25 Tips to Twitter Success, Learn How to Market Yourself, Brand and Business Online. She's also the co-author of Your LinkedIn Professional Network, How to Connect, Optimize, and Implement for Success. And in 2009, she discovered she had a passion for digital marketing and a natural talent for leveraging social media platforms to build brand clients and businesses. She is the co-founder of Rocks Digital, which is a year-round content site with a mission to provide the resource, information, and insights to digital marketers. Lisa is going to share with us tips on claiming your listing on Google, Bing, and other directories and review sites like Yelp. She's going to share tips on how bad data can impact a company's search engine results, and how to check your online visibility. So all of that's really some good stuff. So take some good notes. And I have some questions for her. And make sure you jot down some questions as well. So go ahead, Lisa.
That's a lot in 5
minutes. I know.
Y'all are all in good hands because I talk really, really fast. Is it okay if I stand up by any chance?
Sure.
Awesome, thank you. It feels so weird to be sitting. So I am passionate, as you can already see, about digital marketing, social media. I'm passionate about helping businesses just like you expand your digital footprint online, okay? And expanding on what Julie had mentioned about your branding and keeping it all consistent. Do you notice? Burgundy, 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 okay? It is about taking your brand, whether it's online or offline, and making sure it's consistent. Do you know why? Because that is the foundation of trust. In fact, 73% of consumers lose trust in a brand if their data displayed online is incorrect. They do not trust you if you have a bad address, a bad phone number, a bad website, an ugly website, okay? They don't trust you if your social media does not feel like you and your brand, and you're dry on social, but your website is exciting and thrilling, and they don't trust you. They lose trust. And do you know if the address, who here has a local business that has a brick and mortar location? Great, awesome. Or a service-based business. It's not just for local businesses where you have a physical storefront, okay? If they get lost coming to your location, 67% of the consumers lose trust and they go right to somebody else. So how do you fix that? How do you fix that, right? It's about claiming your listings, as Tarsha mentioned, on Google My Business. It's about optimizing that listing. And that doesn't mean just plugging your address in there and going, I'm done, okay? It's about uploading pictures, photographs that are geotagged, that have all the correct data that shows your location. It's about image file names. It is about leveraging a feature within Google. Yes, we have blog posts, right? We have social media posts. They actually have Google Posts now. And you know what's so cool about Google Posts? This information, these posts, they display in your Google My Business Maps listing, okay? So you can have a special offer, a product, a new service, feature something that you want to. You can even have a little button that says, request a quote, schedule a meeting, right there in your GMB listing, okay? That is what Google My Business is about, okay? And you have to claim them, okay? If you go to Google and you search for your business and it has a thing on the right-hand side and it says something like, claim this business, that means your business has not been claimed. So go claim it, okay? If somebody else claimed your business for you, either because they thought you were helping you or they really weren't and they just want to spam your listing and get your traffic, because that does happen, by the way, you can take ownership of that. You'll have to go through some steps and contact Google, but it's well worth it, okay? You need to claim your listing on Google My Business. You need to claim your listing on Bing Places. But that's not all you need to do, okay? Did you know that, and I love government websites, but did you know that when you register your small business, the information about your address and where you are is housed on that government website? Now, other directories, okay, other data sources, they go to that government website and they scrape your address and they display it in search results when somebody searches for you. Now, what you do not know, okay, is when you incorporated your business or filed your paperwork or your DBA or whatever, you moved. You have a new location. You're in a new place. Love the government websites, but they don't go back and update that address, and the reason they don't is it's not necessary. It doesn't benefit them, but it does benefit you as a business owner, right? And so you have to go out and you have to look at all your data, okay? If you don't look at your data, it could be corrupted. If you change locations, you merge with another business, you're acquired, whatever it might be, or you have multiple locations and you closed one. Now you have some bad data on the web, and that's when consumers get lost and they start losing trust in you. So that's the first thing that you have to do. Now, there are lots of companies that give you a free visibility scan where you can see what your visibility looks like. Of course, I'm with Advice Local, so I want to tell you about ours. You simply can go to our website, advicelocal.com, click on resources, and it says online visibility report, okay? And you run this report. It is free, okay? And it'll show you what all the major directories, data aggregators, review sites, what information they have about your business. And it will tell you how you stack up to a few of your competitors based on the keywords that you give them. So that's the first thing that's very important, okay? I could talk to you for hours about bad data, by the way. It is a thrilling topic, and it is very engaging. I know that sounds weird, but it really is. But I also want to talk to you about your social media presence, because consumers lose trust. You know how you can build trust? By posting on sites such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter and LinkedIn. You have a link that links back to your website. That tells search engines like Google that you are real, that you are legit, that people trust you. Based on engagement you get in your social, that helps raise your profile. And now you're going to raise up in search results, okay? It starts with consistent data. It moves into positive reviews. Like I said, I could talk about this for hours, okay? There's so much. The most important thing and the last tip that I want to give you, okay, is you have to be there where your consumers are. That doesn't mean you have to be everywhere, okay, but it means you have to be there, okay? So if you don't know where they're at, find out immediately. Go there. Build an awesome brand on that platform, as Julie will love and tell you, okay? Build an awesome brand on that platform, right? And then start engaging with people and start building trust with them. Because as you build trust with them, they're going to recommend you to all your friends, and their friends and their friends and their friends. And now all of your small businesses are now lots of big businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Not only is she passionate about what she does, she has a lot of energy, right? I don't even think you've had coffee yet, have you?
I have not.
See, lots of passion. So I have a quick question for you, and it's regarding the local listing. So what if it is a service-based business and they don't have a physical product? Do they still need a local listing?
Yes, they absolutely need a local listing. The fact is you serve an area. Now, of course, yes, we can say we could serve anybody. I mean, as a social media coach, I was where y'all are before I went to Advice Local. I know what it's like to be marketing my small business. And yes, I could service Hong Kong or wherever I wanted to, right? But the fact is I had an area that people search for me. I haven't looked lately, but like a year ago, if you search Dallas social media coach, even though I haven't had my own business, and I still have it, but I'm not real active, since 2014, I came up number 1, okay? Because I had said that I had a service area. People in Dallas were talking about me. So if you don't have a physical business, when you go, physical location that people come to your location, you can go into Google. When you claim your listing, you can just mark that customers don't come to your business, and you can set a service area. Don't set your service area for 600 miles, by the way, because the way local search nowadays, people go to Google and they say blah, 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 and it's going to give them local, okay? So set it for what's realistic, 40 miles, 60 miles, whatever it is, how far you really will go, okay? But make sure that you just mark that customers don't come to your location. You definitely need a Google My Business listing, and you need to have listings across the web.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a hand. So now Kaylin Asher, she's going to wrap things up. So we started off talking about building a brand and having a brand with conviction, a brand with personality. Lisa then piggybacked on that, talking about how to have that brand presence on social media as well as online. And now we're going to talk about media. So Kaylin Asher of Asher Media, she started our company 20 years ago in Texas with a focus on helping clients get the most of their media spend through data-driven research and strategic solutions that have propelled many local, regional, and national brands such as Mattress Firm, Wingstop. I love Wingstop, by the way. Lemon pepper chicken, that's my favorite. Wright brand bacon and sausage, and many more. To succeed in the future that's taken shape, Kaylin believes companies must re-envision every aspect of what they do and how they do it. She's going to share some tips on strategic targeting, having a strong call to action and compelling creative. She's going to share tagging and tracking to capture the leads so that you can build CRM, customer relationship management, and to remarket. So, Kaylin, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you. Again, another call out to the Goldman Sachs. Thank you, Andrea, for recommending that we come and speak. It's really an awesome program, and I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. Closer? Yeah.
Pull it towards you. It moves.
It moves?
Yeah.
Okay. Just pick it up. Thank you. Okay. All right, is this better? Okay. So, so for digital marketing specific as one of the tactics in media, no matter what, you want to be very strategic in your targeting, right? You don't want to, unless you're brand new and you don't really know who your audience is, common sense tells you have a pretty good idea. So you can cast a wide net, but the more strategic you can get, the first party data is the most important. So the CRM data, the names that you have, those are so valuable and they're free. You've already got them, and you need to take that information, and we try to marry that information up with second and third party data to understand different personas of who your audience is. What's their lifestyle? What's their spending habits? These are things that we want to know and actually create sort of that kind of perfect customer out there. The second thing with being strategic about that is we want to analyze their media usage as well. So yes, this is who my audience is, but again, as they were talking about, everyone is reached on different platforms, right? So go to where your customer is, you have to know where that is. And so understanding this particular audience really, really enjoys watching Netflix, or this one's on podcasts, and this one's on every mobile device you can think of. This one's actually sitting in front of a television, and it's smart. So how do we know where they are, and how do we reach them? So that's very important, as well as understanding what your competition is doing, right? So your competition is out there, and they're reaching different people in different ways, and you need to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, what they're saying. A great website to go to is moat.com, MOAT.com, and if you pull that up, it's free. You put in your name, you can put in your competitor's name, you can put in any company name, and it will pull up all the digital ads that they've been running for free. So you can see exactly what online ads have been running that's been captured. So it's a great free resource for you. It's called Moat, MOAT.com. I plugged in a few of them last night, and I was like, yep, we're running that. It was a lot of our clients, and yep, that's what we're running. So it was really, I mean, it's a great, if you just want to know what your competitors are saying out there and messaging that they're getting out. So knowing that is really important, but also testing is so huge. So what I tell you today is go out and do this, well, tomorrow it will change.
Absolutely.
So every time there's something new, almost daily, staying fresh, knowing exactly all the new ways to reach people, because yes, the ads are following you everywhere. You cannot hide. You can try to get off the radar or the grid, but you can't. You've been captured a million ways. So it's really being smart about how to reach everyone, the right people in the right way. But try testing everything before you do anything at all. Get a smaller geographic area, focus around one store, focus around one market before you're going across the country, because you want to see results and you want to make sure everything's working properly before you go anywhere, especially spending a lot of money. And finally, in the strategic side, you have to start with the goal in mind. What is your KPI, right? What is it you're trying to achieve? And you might want to achieve a lot of things. You might want to achieve website visits, download this. You might want people to click through your video. You have a lot of goals, obviously sales, but you want to pick one or two and really focus on those at a time, and not try to pick 20 and try to get all those actions to be had. So really focus that. The other one is don't spread your impressions. If you're out there purchasing impressions, don't spread them too thin. You want to make sure that you hone in on some key areas and really, really send a lot of those messages to that area first before you spread it out. It gets really thinned out, and you can't get the actions that you're looking for. All right, the second tip is your message needs to have a strong call to action. So as Julie talked about in the email marketing, you know what's in your subject line, right? So we do a lot of outward email marketing, and to get consumers to take action, to open up the link, click through, donate, order online, sign up for catering, here's my offer. Well, if we don't have a strong call to action, then no one opens those. So you've got to have $15 off. You've got to have something that is really of interest, because you've already identified these people are interested in you, but what's going to get them to want to know more? And so having that call to action is going to be very, very key, as well as being very consumer-centric. You know the audience you're now reaching to digitally. What's going to resonate with them the most, right? So what kind of look and feel, so understanding who this audience is and what they like, and make sure that whatever you do, when you have someone, if you outwardly market to them and you're driving them to your site or to your store, or to your business in any way, that you're going to give them a smooth, easy customer journey, right? You do not want them to have to go to a million places before they finally get to the answer they're looking for. You want to make it as simple and easy as possible. And then finally, a lot of the tagging and tracking is if you aren't building your customer data, if you aren't doing things and capturing those names, then it's not working for you. The more information that you can get on the customers that are coming to you, whether they're coming in your door and dropping in a business card, or whether they're going online, and you want to know the actions they're taking, but following and tagging and putting pixels everywhere you possibly can gives you valuable information, valuable information. You need to know everything you can about what they did and why they did it, because that then tells you how to spend your money smarter the next time. And so you want to follow all of the trails that you can, the Google Analytics, the platforms, it gives you so much information. So understanding, you can actually go online and just get Google certified yourself and go through a program. It's fairly simple. It just takes a little time, but I think it's great that you guys really focus on following that customer and getting them to come to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I have a quick question for you, and then we're going to open it up to the audience for questions. She said pay per click, cost per click, impressions, geo-targeting, pixels. Does that sound like a foreign language to anybody out there? Yeah, I saw a few hands. So if though that terminology is confusing and the whole digital advertising and display is, it's kind of a challenge and hard, I would imagine that most of these small businesses are most comfortable with the offline marketing, that traditional type of marketing. So why is online marketing preferred over offline, and how would one integrate the two?
Great question. So yes, digital marketing has really only been around about 10 to 12 years. And so it's a new way of reaching these customers, just like if you remember the day when actually we got cable back in the 80s. So it became a new way to reach people, and it's just very fascinating, a very accurate, super fast way of getting data and getting information, and it doesn't cost you $1 million to produce a TV spot to then spend another $1 million to place the TV spot. So it becomes actually very affordable. It's something that allows you to be very local around a small geographic area, about a small demographic area. So that's why people are really drawn to it, and because it's actionable and it gives you that data right away. However, everyone we've seen move their budgets to 100% digital, who used to do traditional, we've run in magazines, we've run in the local papers, we've sponsored billboards, we've done sponsorships, local leagues, being very community driven. You're missing your mass reach when you're not doing that. If you go straight into only digital, you're so targeted that you haven't reached enough people to keep your name out there. So it's a balance. And it's really important that you make sure that you have your resources doing the right things for you, both from a mass reach standpoint in the traditional sense, and then very direct and targeted in the digital sense.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand, please. So we only have less than 5 minutes, but I'm going to ask for a little bit of grace to give us another 5 minutes to take a few questions, because I know that was some great information. Doug from Comerica, he's a business banker there. He has the mic. So anyone has a question? So we have Chris back there with a question.
Hi, that was a great panel. Thank you. My question is about service businesses and the claiming of your business. And for many service businesses, there's a home office. And the question is, should I be a post office box or my home office as an address? And people are always challenged with that. So what are y'all's recommendations relative to that location?
That is one of the biggest struggles, and myself, having been a small business and just had a P.O. box, that was one of the struggles. So you can't use a P.O. box for a Google My Business listing in most of the directory sites. However, if you use your home address, there are some concerns about personal safety. So you have to decide for yourself what you want to do. Now, there are some businesses that will use like a little box at the UPS station and it has like a suite number on it. People are known to do that. I'm not saying that I'm not recommending you do that. However, that is an option that you can try. However, Google is really smart. And the fact is they realize most of the time that that's like just a little box at the UPS place. And so they will discard that data. Other directory sites might not discard it as much as Google, but they do all communicate together, and that helps with trust. So you really have to decide for yourself in that case, if you're working out of your home, what you prefer. I can tell you that a P.O. box is a no-go, and that if you use like a UPS place that has a bunch of, like the United Parcel Service, they'll have with the little boxes, you can try it, but it probably won't get you the results you want, just to be totally honest.
And I have a recommendation, because I've just been going through this search as well for my company in Austin. I've just relocated that team out of a house they were working in a house to their first office space now in 6 years. And when I went searching for that, what I did was really look at the co-share space. Now everyone talks about WeWorks, Industrious, whatever, but there are 1 million co-share working spaces. And you can go in, and that can be your home base. You can have a hot desk for $350 a month. And it can get you addresses, it can get you printing, phone service, it gets you all that stuff. So it's something that you can even say, I just want a desk for 2 days a week. But it gives you that social atmosphere, which is great, but it also gives you a lot of that professional business front that you really need.
It is important, however, I'm sorry, I have to add to that. It is important, though, for your listings that if you do a space like that, you need to make sure you have a suite number unique to you. Because if everybody says their Google My Business listing is 123 Grapevine Mills Parkway, Suite 300, then that's bad data according to Google, and they will really not trust you at all. And consumers that come try to find you again, even if you are service-based, it could happen. It'll totally degrade your trust. But that is a great
question.
idea.
Okay, we have another question, and from Pat. What's your name, ma'am?
Kathy Holt. My question is along a similar vein with Google My Business, in that what if you live here, but actually most of your business is done someplace else in another state? Then how do you list yourself?
Well, you still have to list yourself based on your physical business address. It is about a local presence, and with more and more consumers turning to mobile devices, search results, they deliver in a local area on mobile. Now on desktop, it can be a different game dramatically, and it's different on mobile also depending on what kind of phrase they search. So you will have to pick your local area. On the second side, and I'm sure that Julie and Kayla could speak to the digital side of things. I could do it, but I don't want to overstep. But the fact is you can do other things to make sure you build your presence in the area where the majority of your customers are, even though you were here locally and they're in Timbuktu.
Vanessa, do we have time for one more, or we need to wrap up? Two more questions? Okay.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Haney. In regards to branding and consistency, what is a good rule of thumb for posting to your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and what was the other one? Anyway, social media.
Facebook?
Do you want to take social?
I feel like a hog. I'm not trying to be. I'm so sorry. So the fact is when it comes to social media, okay, it can be a time suck. It is a time suck. It can be. So you have to set a solid foundation, much like you do for your branding. You have to come up with a strategy of what you're going to post and when you're going to post, and you can pre-write some of that content in advance. One of the tips I give, and I'm sure Tarsha's probably heard about this, is when I would do social media for an SMB or for myself or for whoever, I tell you, sit down and write 100 tips, evergreen content that reaches your audience, okay? Evergreen content. I know you're thinking 100. Whoa, she is crazy, right? But the fact is you write 100 tips and you keep them short and sweet. 100 characters with spaces, 120 characters is fine. Now that Twitter lets you have more if you want to. Keep them short and sweet, and then you can spin this content and mix it in with all the other content that you have written and drafted. And you use a theme. For example, Marketing Monday, or Man Crush Monday, or Throwback Thursday, or Tip Tuesday, or whatever it is. That way when you're creating your content, it's easier to write it, but the most important thing is to realize that you have to do it and do it consistently. Don't do it one day and not do it the next, because people have to look at you all the time and consistently. And I would say post, technically it's 22 times a day to get seen on Twitter, but that's a lot. So start with, 3 or 4 times, and the more you get into it, and when you get addicted to it, just keep going and you'll love it and you'll have a passion like I do for it.
These women have given us some wonderful tips. Wouldn't you agree? All right, let's give them a hand. Thank you so much, ladies. Please make sure you connect with them before the end of the conference. Grab their business cards and reach out to them. Thank you so much.